My dear ones. Now we have got a thorough idea on how to make use of patterns of knowledge for developing reading skill in our students. Now we can just look at the topic making use of graphics for developing reading skill in our students. There are different types of graphical representations which carry different types of information. These graphical representations are economic in the case of time because we will get more information from by spending a less span of time. Let's look what are the different graphics and how can we make use of such graphics for developing reading skill in our students. First one is tables. There are different types of tables. We know that tables are used for classifying information. So we can compare and contrast between and among data given in the table. See, if you are able to read and interpret tables, you can get more information within a less span of time. So you should teach your students how to read tables, how to interpret the data given in table, how to compare and contrast the data given in different columns and in different rows of a table. So it will be making them read in a better manner. And next one is bar graphs. What are bar graphs? They used to make comparisons between amounts or quantities. If you want to compare quantity or amounts of different aspects or different components, then you can make use of bar graphs. Just look at this bar graph. This is an example for bar graph. Here you can see apple, orange, banana, kiwi fruit, blueberry, grapes. So if you look at the bar graph, you will see that 40 people like blueberry, while apple is the favorite fruit for 35 people, and grapes is the favorite fruit for only for 5 people. So just by looking at this graphical representation, this bar graph, a person can get more information. A person can compare apple and grapes. A person can compare the number of people who like apple and orange just by looking at this single graph. And if you are giving explanation by using passages, then it needs 2 or 3 pages. So the information which your student can gain from 3 or 4 pages can be gained by looking at this half page. So you should teach them how to read bar graphs. Now comes line graphs. Line graphs are used to show the relationship between the variables. Different variables are there, and the relationship can be shown by using line graphs. Just look at this example. It's a line graph. It's a data of the match between India and Australia, cricket match. So you just look at it. You can see after 10 over, India scored just 50 runs, but without any wicket. But Australia scored about 80 runs but lost 3 wickets. So you can see the variable at 20 over, 30 over, 40 over. Just by looking at this line graph, you can collect the data, the complete data of the complete match. So you have to teach your students how to read line graphs so they can compare and contrast variables at different span of time. Then comes pie charts. These pie charts are used to show the relationships of parts to the whole. You take a particular thing and you can use pie chart to show the relationship between the whole thing and its parts. For example, if you take a class of 50 students, then you can look at different groups, that means different parts of that classroom and the relationship between the whole classroom by using pie charts. Here is an example. It's a chart of the examination. 56.3% passed, 25% of students failed, 18.8% skipped. They didn't complete. So this is pie chart. So you can, if they are able to read pie charts, they can get more information. Then comes flow charts. They are used to show a process or procedure, different steps in the process or different stages in the process. If you want to show by using a graphical representation, if you want to show different steps in the process or different stages in the procedure, you can just use flow charts. So I may show you an instance. Look at here. This is the flow chart. When you order an item, the order sheet, the user submit the order sheet, then it reaches the business manager, he checks the order form, then he issues the form, then the form go to the warehouse keeper, then he just checks the inventory books whether stock is there. So then it goes to workshop, then stock out, then delivery sheet, then it goes to user. So flow chart. And just by looking at this flow chart, your student can realize the process of ordering and shipping an item by an online platform or an offline platform. So this is what is happening there. So they can get more information just by looking at this single flow chart. Then diagrams. They used to present information in a visual way. Psychology tells that when students when students see some visuals, then the information gained by them will be lasting for a long period. So look at diagrams. So this is a diagram of muscles, upper and lower extremity muscles. So by looking at these muscles, this diagram, your students can get more information on different parts of the body of a human being. Sometimes he may not be able to catch all this information by reading long passages. So just teach them how to get information from diagrams. Then pictograms. They used to show specified information in an interesting way by using pictures, by images, by using some icons. So it will be creating some interest in your students. See here. So upstairs, yes, vehicle parking. So information can be gained by your students just by looking at such pictograms. Then maps, as you know, just for showing location and direction. So if your students are able to read maps, then they can get more information on different locations. Then photographs. Again, they are used to enhance interest in reading. So just they should be able to interpret the photographs in a particular article or in a particular story. Then cartoons. Again, these are used to enhance interest in reading. So they should know how to look at cartoons, they should know how to interpret cartoons even when there are no dialogues. Then timelines. These timelines are used to show the sequence of events. This is a timeline. Okay. In 2002, LinkedIn came there. In 2004, Facebook came there. In 2005, YouTube came there. In 2006, Twitter came there. So if you just make them able to read timelines, then they can get information on a chronological order. It also will be useful for them in competitive examination and such events. Then Venn diagrams, they are used to show the relationship between two sets of information. An example is here. If you look at this this one, Venn diagram, you can see, just look at this Venn diagram, you can see whales and fish. These are exclusive features of whales, have hair, live birds, breathe air. Then these are some exclusive features of fish, lay eggs, have scales, breathe water. Then these are some common elements seen in whales and fish. Live in water, have fins, can swim. So these are some items. From here, by looking at the Venn diagram, your students can compare and contrast and understand the common features in the two different items. So these are some graphic representations which you see in written pieces or articles or stories or essays. So you should teach your students how to read and interpret different graphics so that to make them have a better reading experience.